Hi everyone. I recently purchased a iPad Air to go flying in a Robinson R22. The reason I did is because of ForeFlight, which made it very easy to navigate and know where you are. But I came across a number of problems. One, the iPad would run out of power. Secondly, the iPad would overheat, and when it overheated, it would turn itself off, and you had to wait for it to cool down, and then you had to retry, and it all became a bit too much of a problem. Originally, I had the iPad Air and I had it on my knee, but then I found it was cumbersome. It was always getting in the way of the cyclic, so I thought I'd at least find a solution. And this is the solution I came up with. I went to RAM Mount and purchased a RAM Mount unit for the iPad. Then the RAM Mount unit itself came as a plastic unit. It had a section at the back, and that section enabled you to mount it to the main metal beam that goes up the middle of the Robinson R22. Therefore it could sit over the top of the dash quite comfortably, and it was adjustable, which meant I was able to move it around and move it to exactly the position I wanted to be, depending on where I was situated in the helicopter. I then took it out and tried it, and the problem with it was it still suffered from a tremendous amount of reflective glare, which made it difficult to see it, and it also was in the situation where it overheated when you were hovering and there was not enough air coming into the helicopter to cool it down. I then decided to first of all approach the reflective glare issue by creating this black cardboard canopy that went all the way around it. I just created it out of cardboard to make sure that it weighed around about, all up the whole unit weighs just over a pound. So it was just something simple to stop the glare from reflecting off the glass and giving me a problem. The second issue I needed to address was the cooling of the unit. So the cooling of the unit I went and purchased from here in San Francisco from a computer store, a very cheap $10 laptop cooling fan, which was powered by your USB. And along with that I purchased this battery unit which enabled you to get upwards of 7 or 8 hours worth of battery life out of the iPad. It was good because it actually had 2 USB ports, and one USB port powered the fan, and the second USB port was able to power the iPad. And that enabled me to get something that was cool, that was light, that was efficient, that worked really well. This particular RAM unit is the one that has these much larger sections through here because I wanted to allow some air through, and also what I've done is created a section on the side that you can plug in or unplug the iPad from. It has a lock and a clipping mechanism that allows you to lock it in place. So that pushes it down, locks it in place. This just enables the iPad to come out easily, and once it comes out easily, you've got it to put aside. The other thing I did was I created this, I was worried about vibration, so I created this rubberized section here that the actual iPad sits on. And this is the reason why I bought this particular type of RAM mount, was it allowed enough flow through of air at the back of it so it wasn't pressed up against something and was going to overheat from that perspective. Anybody else who's flying an R22 or a helicopter, here's a simple way of solving the problem with the iPad.